Hello.
Hi, hello.
I'm well. How are you?
Good, good. Thanks so much for having me. This is so fun. I was listening to the other conversations this morning and like the conversations and everything that was coming out was really fun.
Good. Well, thank you. And thanks for making time to do one yourself. Why don't you start us off by telling us who you are, where you are, and what you do?
My name is Tuyet Nguyen. I am in LA. I'm from Denver, so I talk about Denver a lot, but I do live in LA. I am a touring professional, some people would say. I have generally been a tour manager, a production coordinator, and I think for a lot of people probably on this feed, they know me as Deer Tick's tour manager, and as one of the team of people that puts together the Deer Tick Newport Folk Festival after parties every year at the Blues Cafe. If you've been,
Legendary.
yeah, you have seen me running around getting people on stage and off stage. So,
And actually, I wanted to talk about this too. I know you're also a writer.
oh, yeah,
I love this book so much.
thank you so much. Thank you. That's so incredibly kind. Thank you.
Yeah. And there's a photo in here that I was just paging through this for the first time in a while. And there's a photo from the Blues Cafe. And I think I found myself in the
Oh,
in the picture.
that's amazing. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, that was a great time putting that together. And so it was so gracious of Dear Chick to allow me to do that and to be so supportive of that.
Yeah. So I've been starting by asking everybody if you've had a chance to listen to music lately, and if so, what have you been listening to during all that's going on?
Oh, yes. You know, what's funny is actually at the beginning of this, it was such, so difficult. Like when all the tours and everything was going away, I honestly was like not listening to music. There was something like, so as something that's been such a big part of my life. Like in February and March, I was just not listening to music at all. In the last month, that's definitely shifted. I think as like I've settled in and sort of, come to sort of reset my life for the next year. I've sort of come back to things I've always really loved. I've been listening to a lot of Tierra Whack and SZA. And this part's really shameless because I've been listening to a lot of my friends with like The Suffers. Nicole Atkins has a new album out. Tallest Man on Earth has been doing these weekly live streams. And then actually Ian O'Neill from Deer Tick um, introduced me to this artist, Beverly Glenn Copeland, who's incredible, that I've been listening to a lot lately as well.
Wonderful. I love all of those that you mentioned. And it's been really interesting these last 12 weeks that I've been doing these conversations. Everybody's given really different recommendations. Well, everybody's been listening to John Prine.
Yes.
Um, that's been a theme that comes up. But I've gotten such a great list now of new music to check out or things to go back to that I haven't listened to in a long time. And I've been very grateful for that. Um, so talk to me about, would you have been on tour right now if it weren't for this?
Yes, I definitely would have been on tour. The other band I work for is Bon Iver, and we would have been on our way to Australia this month. Um, yes, it's very, tell me about it. Yeah, it's been such a tumultuous kind of emotional few months with myself and also with all my friends because it's like, this whole year and this whole industry has just sort of gone away in a span of a few months. And like I was saying, I think it was only about a month ago that that really started to settle in that like, oh, I'm not going to be touring this year. That like, when we originally thought like we'll push it off till the summer and then until the fall, and now it's like really, it's really, really settled in that it's going to be a long, long road um, until we get back out there again.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, I book a small cap, 160 cap room here in York, Pennsylvania. And, at first we pushed the stuff to the summer and then it got pushed back to later in the year, November. And now I don't know how we could make the numbers work, even if we had a way to space the audience out enough to
yeah.
be safe. Um, then we don't have enough people in the room to make it make sense. Do you have any sense yet of what happens moving forward? Do you have any expectations?
You know, a lot of it's been sort of just speculation and talking with, my peers, my colleagues, and my coworkers, and it's like I think everyone's really optimistic for 2021. I know a lot of the tours that I have been on this year have been rescheduled, tentatively rescheduled for next year. Um, but that's sort of a level of optimism, but I don't know exactly what actionable things are being done to for that to happen. And I know there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes and a lot of venues trying to readjust how they do things in this new environment. Um, but it's so like it's all the time, and people ask me, and I'm like, I don't know. Like I know as much as anyone else. Where it's like, I'm hopeful, but I don't know.
The not knowing is difficult.
Yes, yeah. So finding other avenues, but it has been inspiring also to sort of see how artists are shifting and sort of, learning new technologies like doing live streams and trying to get good audio out of like FaceTime calls and Instagram Live. And so I think seeing that shift and sort of seeing how people are also supporting each other and the community coming together has been one of the sort of few kind of bright spots is that like we're all in this together and we're all it's been really great to see everyone supporting everyone.
I agree. Um, so how have you been passing the time? I think I saw early on that you had been painting. What else are you doing to, you
Yeah,
know, get
uh,
through?
about yeah 2 weeks ago my answer for that would have been I've been learning magic tricks to do for my friends on Zoom calls. That's been kind of a frivolous fun activity. I've been painting, writing, and really like I said, kind of I think a lot of what I've been doing is honestly just resetting my brain and my body to sort of deal with everything that's happening right now in the world. And staying engaged and reaching out and checking in. And so I think like a lot of everything I'm doing is just like resetting myself for this next year. And then well, that was the answer about 2 weeks ago, about a week ago. And then in this last week with everything swelling the way it has, it's sort of, priorities of things have like shifted to sort of supporting and encouraging all the activism that's happening right now. If you follow me on Twitter, I'm very, very, a lot of expletives about everything that's going on. Uh, but so that's sort of, so now it's sort of on top of the pandemic, also resetting ourselves to sort of um, really transition into big change, hopefully big changes in the world around us.
Yeah. What does it look like where you are in LA in terms of protests and what's happening in your own neighborhood?
It is both really inspiring and then also very scary. I live in Echo Park, which is adjacent to downtown. And so in the last week, I am hearing sirens and helicopters outside my door all the time. A lot of my friends, myself, have been out there. But what's been really great is to see it not just in downtown, but to see the movement swell to just so many neighborhoods from like Westminster to Highland Park to the big protest over at Hollywood and Vine, which is like where a lot of the coverage is from, and
Mhm.
Burbank and Glendale and all these towns and all these corners, which is incredible. And there have been so many peaceful protests and mass gatherings. The numbers are swelling, which is amazing. Um, but there's also been a lot of brutality and violence, which has also been captured in so many videos of just like police agitating and people being stuck in their homes and being pushed around, and that is so like disheartening and disgusting. And so it's like it's definitely a lot of emotions and balancing all those things all the time right now and having these conversations about it.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's emotionally uh, really exhausting. I feel like I had a reset button too on my own health and my life and the pace of my life in the first couple months of this, and now the anxiety's back, which I'm hoping I can help channel into something good and be helpful and constructive. But it's a lot to manage.
Yes, yeah, I think that we're definitely all kind of surfing on a lot of different emotional waves. And I think that like, trying to use that energy to be proactive, turning that sort of bad exhaustive energy into like something positive is a lot of work. And I think also recognizing that like, this movement and this time and like the pandemic, this isn't going away in a couple months or in a summer or in a season, but it's going to be something that we are dealing with for honestly, the rest of our lives for the foreseeable future. And so I think also taking care of ourselves and taking care of others is, I think, a great way to sort of temper all of the emotions.
Mm-hmm. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, on a lighter note, why don't you tell me what you're most looking forward to doing when COVID is, there's a vaccine or whatever, and it's safe to do whatever you want to do? What is the thing you're most excited to do again?
Um, there was Phoebe Bridgers tweeted something like way at the beginning of this that I really identify with, which is it was something to the effect of the only thing I hate more than touring is not touring. And
I
that,
saw that.
yeah, that is definitely how I feel. Like for as much as I, kind of complain about being on tour, like I can't wait to get on a plane, to get on a bus, and to do a show. Like just, everything that drew me to live music. Like I can't wait for all those feelings again, and to sort of be in a room with people that I love, to be on the road with like my best friends, to just travel and see the world and be in these really unique places, and to create really beautiful experiences for other people is like a feeling that is so indescribable that I love so much about music and about my job in particular. I can't wait to get back to that. I can't wait to just see my friends. I can't wait honestly to get back to Newport. like,
Mm.
I think, as a lot of people know, like this year is supposed to be the last year of the Deer after parties, and so like I was just incredibly very very excited about that, and doing that for everyone for one more time. But we can wait a little bit longer for that. So those are the things I'm very excited about for sure.
Yeah. Of all the million spectacular memories I have from Newport, so many of them are from the Blues Cafe and being hot and sweaty and covered in beer and other people's sweat and just,
Yeah,
man, such
definitely.
a good time.
It's such a special, special thing, and how it's grown organically, over the last 9 years that the band has been doing it. I've only been with them for like half that time, but how it's sort of grown from them, sort of wanting to do this thing because they weren't playing the festival to like something that's such a part of the culture of the festival and such a part of the culture of that city that weekend. To be part of that, and even to stand among and sweat along with everyone else is like feels so magical. And I think over the years there have been some really beautiful moments.
Yeah, yeah. I'm really missing that. I had looked, I have a countdown timer on my phone and it's supposed to be like 50 something days till Newport. Instead, it's 410 days till Newport,
Oh
which
wow.
is kind of a bummer, but I'm really excited that we do have that date on the calendar and there is something to count down toward, even if it's so many more days than I wish it were.
Yeah, yeah. That is, wow, when you put it into numbers like that, that is a lot of days. That is an unfortunate number of days.
Yeah.
But I hope that we get to do it. And I do think that like I'm optimistic that we will come out of this stronger as a community, and better as a community, more aware of as a community. Um, I think all the conversations that are happening right now, within the music industry and outside of the music industry and in the entertainment industry as a whole, are conversations that like I have been really aware of and really engaged in, but to see it sort of come to the surface on this like international global level is really incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. To wrap up, can you tell us where we can go or how we can support the things you care about most and where we should go for more information?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And what a great time to be asking this because there are so many amazing organizations, everything within the Black Lives Matter movement, of course, ACLU, NAACP, all those things that you should absolutely be donating and supporting. And specifically, they're like Reclaim the Block in Minneapolis is an organization that I really like, that has been working since 2018 to defund the police and reorganize that money into the community. I'm also still thinking about the things that like immigration and sort of everything that's happening at our borders is still happening. Immigrants and refugees being detained, and so organizations like Races, also still need our help right now. And uh, there are a number of also like thinking about all of the venues and all of the small businesses that are happening. One of them in particular, that is like a personal thing that I'm really like hoping that they get the funding that they need is this place called Beat Cafe in Japan, and it's just a bar. It's a small bar. It's really well known among like touring bands. The people that run it are just so hospitable and amazing, and has been so gracious to sort of like any band that comes through town. And they have a Kickstarter that they started a couple months ago when all this was going on to help them weather the pandemic, and that's been something that like, and like with all the other news, I also like it's like a small shout out like don't forget about Beat Cafe among everything else that's going on.
And that's somewhere you've been with the bands that you tour with?
Yes, yes. It's such a, you know, when you walk, it's like when you walk into a venue or you walk into a bar or you walk into a place and you know that this is like a special place and you know that like you found your people. And I think that's something in touring that like is one of the most special things about touring is when you go into a new venue, go into a new space and find like, uh, find the people that understand you or get you or the people that are welcoming to you as like a touring group or, you know, as outsiders coming into that city.
This is a complete tangent, but last night I watched the Danny Clinch did the Shannon Hoon documentary, and it's all footage that Shannon Hoon actually filmed when Blind Melon was coming up and touring and whatever. And they talk a lot about that B-Girl video and how the band didn't necessarily feel like that became bigger than the band.
Yeah.
But I always say, like when people ask me about Newport and why music in general, live music and Newport in particular are so important to me. I always say like it's like that in that video when she's walking up over the hill and she finds all the other bee people. My bee people are at Newport and in these small independent venues that I go to. And that sense of community is what I'm always kind of looking for when I go to those places. And the music is what brings us there.
Yeah, that's a great analogy that these are your beef girls. That's a fantastic analogy.
Well, anyway, on that note, is there anything else you'd like to say before we wrap up?
Um, I mean, I think the same thing that everyone else is saying is like, please keep using your voices, use your platforms, speak up, don't be afraid, don't be self-conscious. Like now is the time to please support each other, support Black lives, support marginalized voices, like be out in your community. This is actually like our community. So like, please, everyone keep speaking up and being proactive.
Well said. Well, thank you so much, Tuyet, for taking some time to talk to me today and being part of this.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was great.
Take care, and I hope we get to be back out on the road again soon.
Yeah, me too. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.